slowly drifted.
I mean, you talk about architecture, like you talk about to the kids about how you lost.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah. There's another one was I loved architecture and but I never quite found the same level of stimulation creatively that I found in writing. It's a great profession. I love architecture. Whenever I go to a city, I still visit buildings, and it's something I have a respect for, and will probably still practice some. But honestly, I was actually just frustrated with the profession after working in it for a decade. So I was looking for other outlets for my creativity.
Oh shit.
I have another question.
Oh no, right behind first. Then you. Don't worry.
I'll try to do one first.
Sorry, she's been waiting a while.
How do you choose a co-author? Because it sounded like you had several. So how do you, if you're meeting just people randomly in your life, how do you say I'm gonna tie myself to someone for 18 months?
Oh
I
no,
don't understand.
no, we don't have. We only work together.
I thought you said the book that was.
Oh, the nonfiction.
Right.
Nonfiction.
Oh yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yes, that was a long time ago. I have collaborated
a
with
good friend of
on
ours.
nonfiction. I don't collaborate on novels with people other than my husband. But I was a journalist, and my friend and I were reporters, and we both worked for Marie Claire. So we were actually good friends. We kind of covered the same beat. There was
you co-wrote an article.
Yeah, and we wrote an article for the magazine, and we were good friends anyway. And so we turned the article into a book. And Karen, I think we chose each other because we both had a really good work ethic. Because I tried to write screenplays with friends before, and somebody they would just not write them. I'd be like, here's my pages, and I'm like, where are your pages? And they'd be like, I didn't work on it, and I'm like, oh. So there were a bunch of like creative projects that I tried to do. I not novels. It is I think I could only write with you.
Novels a lot more personal.
Yeah, it's just a lot more personal. But I thought like a screenplay, a TV treatment I could do with like other friends. And Karen was the only one who like. When I said, I want to do this as a book, she said, okay, let's do it. And she had pages, she had ideas, she worked just as hard as me, and we got along really well. It was hard, though, because I think when you're just friends, like the intensity of being together all the time, and we did 2 books together. We did a book called The Fashionista Files also. It's hard on the friendship, because there's business, and then there's the writing, and we agreed on stuff, but then sometimes, she was really big into publicity and really wanted to like get out there for the books, and I was fine with it, but I kind of felt like I was taking away from my writing, and for a while our friendship kind of suffered, but we were able to repair it, and we're actually still really good friends, so that was good. And then I had a friend, Tom Dolby. We edited a book of essays together. Called Girls Who Like Boys, which actually became a reality show on the Sundance Channel. And I kind of pick people that are really fun to work with, and it kind of keeps me, talking to people instead of being so alone. So like I'll come up with like an idea and I'll be like, oh, do you want to do this with me? So, and then hopefully the friendship survives. Mostly they have. Sorry, and you had another question.
You had mentioned Stephen King as an inspiration.
Yes.
He really digs into his personal life and his childhood from his stories.
Yes.
Do you guys dig into your childhood? Because you mentioned you're an immigrant and you traveled a lot. So does that work?
Yeah.
I think we definitely dig into our experience all the time. Everything we've done and things we've read and who we are. And I think a lot, for me to relate to a character really has to have a little piece of me inside of it so I can know how they react or get angry or how they'd feel. So I definitely mind my own emotions and experience a lot.
Blue Bloods, Skylar, a lot of her kind of alienation and sadness, definitely came from my own high school experience. Her high school was basically my high school, just with boys in it, because I went to an all-girls school, so I just kind of like figured like, oh, what would it be like with boys? All right, and it was actually really hard to write her because it was just too close to who I was, and I felt so, it's hard to go back there, and I had a really difficult high school years because when I moved, I was a freshman in an American high school, and just the culture shock. And going to this kind of small, mean debutante high school, was really hard. So she's a character who's very close to me, but then, to get under her skin, I have to remember what that was like, and it's really hard. So you almost don't even want to do it, which is why I find Mimi so fun. Because Mimi is based on me when I went to college, so that was much more fun and confident. Sure. Yeah, sure.
Did you ever think of quitting on the book?
Of what, sorry?
Did you ever think about quitting on the
Oh, quitting writing? All the time. Especially when our deadline.
Or rewrites when you have to read a book
rewrites.
for the 50th
When
time.
there's so much whining when you're a writer. We whine constantly, and and we really do have to remember, that and we are doing what we love. We would do it if nobody paid us, And my friends who are writers in Hollywood said, never ever say that, Don't say that you would do it for free. Then they'll pay us even less. But I don't, even at the darkest, most miserable, most stress-filled writing day, I don't think I would ever quit. I think that, I joke that, if my book sold as well as Harry Potter and I owned a castle in Scotland, I would buy a yacht and never work again. And that's probably a lie.
I don't think anybody would. I think it's
Yeah.
fun to work. It's
Yeah.
good stuff. I don't think you'd ever.
Yeah, and she's written 2 books since Harry Potter, and is writing a third, and I think writers just need to write. It's what we like to do, and as hard as it is, it's it's really satisfying, and it's fun. It kind of takes over your life, but I mean I worked so hard to get to a point where that could be all I could do. I think it would be hard to give up, Although I do like to joke about it. I always like to joke. I was like, I want to be a trophy wife. Come on, honey. I just want to go to Pilates. And he's like, no, you wouldn't. You would never.
Please.
More questions?
Okay.
Yeah. I think we're all
Got
done
the
anyway.
hour.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, before we do the signing, we have some giveaways. So
Oh, cool.
raise your hand if you did not get a blue ticket, and my assistant Zoe will come to you.
All right. Yep.